So I've been through it all. I've done the entire campaign, more or less. I have beat Castle Ravenloft over 50 times. I have gotten all the new mounts in Mod 14. I have gotten all of the new enchantments in Mod 14. I've seen it all. And now it's time for me to tell you guys and give you guys my official review of Neverwinter Ravenloft Mod 14. So what is going on YouTube, the Assist Man? And welcome back to another video. Inside of this video, like I just said, man, I'm going to give you guys my official review of Mod 14. And look at that swarm. Man, I wanted this thing so bad, not only because it has a really cool equip bonus and power, but the look of it, man. My favorite colors are red and black, and I just had to go with it. I had to make some trades, man. I had to give up some stuff I didn't want to. But at the end of the day, I got the swarm. And thank you for trading me. You know who you are. So anyway, man, let's go ahead and get into the video. I'm chilling over here in Barovia, and man, this place is really cool looking. I really like Ravenloft. I will tell you guys that right off the bat. The scenery, just the entire, castles and vampires and werewolves. I said all along that it reminds me of some Van Helsing type stuff, and I love vampires. I love werewolves. I love that old school feel of like that 1600s type look. So as far as like aesthetics and, everything inside of this mod, they hit it out the park for me. Inside of this mod, man, like I said in the beginning, we got a new campaign, we got one new dungeon, we got two new enchantments, one being a weapon enchantment, one being an armor enchantment that I reviewed in the previous video. And then we got two new mounts, one of them being the Mist form, which I'm going to show you guys right now. And basically the Mist form is a purple epic mount. It turns you into like a ghost where you just like kind of move around as mist or like a ghost formation of yourself. I think that this mount is really cool. The power on it is just standard, plus 2000. I forgot exactly what it has on it. I think it's power, but it's really cool looking. So I wanted to have it just to add it to the collection. And then you have the legendary mount, which I think is the best mount we've ever had in the game. And that is the Swarm. Not only does the Swarm look amazing, but in my opinion, offers the best in slot mount power bonus for DPS and maybe for any other class, because what it does is it makes you do 5% more damage, and it makes the enemy that you put the swarm on take 5% more damage, and it stacks, which means even for clerics and tanks and stuff, you can use this on the enemy, and you can make all your teammates do 5% more damage against that enemy for 10 seconds. As far as the actual equip power of it being 4000 lifesteal severity, it's not that great. I definitely recommend you get another mount to use a different equip power. But all in all, man, I love the way the swarm looks, man. When you first, call it in, it turns the entire screen all like black and white and red, and then it comes back and you're flying in a swarm of bats. It's really amazing. So those are the new mounts we got. As far as the new weapon enchantments we got, I covered those in the previous video I did. We got a new armor enchantment called the Eclipse enchantment, which basically increases your deflection chance. So that is pretty good, and at the unparalleled level will make you basically immune to using your stamina. So if you're a class that uses stamina, you can use that. And then we got the Promenance enchantment, which I think is very good as well, which I reviewed in the previous video. If you didn't watch that, go ahead and check it out. As far as the campaign store brought us a bunch of new stuff, mostly a bunch of new artifact belts and new artifact neck pieces that you can use for some new artifact sets. Most of them, in my opinion, are geared towards tank classes and other things like that. Now, as far as the boons go in the campaign, it's pretty limited to, you pretty much unlock, all these little things, and it lets you increase your weekly haul, and then you go to your boons. And in this campaign, it's really small, man. I really wish they would have did a little bit more with it, but I'll get to that in a little bit. But the boons in here, you only get 4 boons. And basically, you get one called Ageless that will increase your recovery by 600, 900, or 1200. One called Undying Death, which will increase your damage versus undead by 5, 10, or 15%. One called Deathly Defiance, which increases your damage resistance versus the undead by up to 15%. One called Vampiric Grace, Embrace, which lets you get more movement. Another one called Raven's Cunning, which lets you get some control resist. And another one called Hardened Bones, which makes you get more hit points. And then you have the 4 capstones at the top. Now, on the bottom 3 ones, you basically you could pick 3. You could put 3 in one slot. You could take 1 of any 3, so on and so forth. But at the top, you're only able to get 1. And you have Bloodlust, which every critical hit against an enemy has a chance to add a stack. At 10 stacks, you gain 2400 increased power for 10 seconds, but the buff can only be applied every 60 seconds. Then we have Transfusion, which basically lets you heal another player for 10% of their hit points and gives a chance of applying a heal over time that will heal 5% of their max hit points every 2 seconds for 10 seconds. It's not really that great because most people don't heal in this game anymore. Then we have one called Hypnotic Gaze. This one could be good. It says anytime you use a root, stun, hold, or daze on an enemy, you have a chance to increase the combat advantage damage of nearby allies by 5% for 10 seconds. But once again, it can only happen every 60 seconds. Then you have another one called Righteous Sacrifice. This, in my opinion, is probably the best one, but it's more geared towards tanks. It says taking 10% or more of your max health in damage grants nearby allies 800 power for 5 seconds. Stacks a maximum of 5 times. So basically, all tanks should be taking this boon because you're basically going to be able to grant all your allies 4,000 power for 5 seconds, and it stacks, which means every time you get hit, it's going to continuously refresh and stack. As far as the other one goes that, lets you root, stun, hold, or daze, it's good for some classes that do that kind of stuff, but it only can happen once every 60 seconds. So it's kind of useless. Only for 10 seconds and only happens, every 60 seconds. Then the healing one, to me, like I said, is kind of useless to me as well, because nobody really heals in this game anymore. Maybe the temp locks, it could be good for them, but most people, we survive off lifesteal and having a good team synergy with tanks. And the DPS one, the Bloodlust, which adds a stack, and once you get to 10 stacks on critical hits, you gain 2400 increased power, but the buff can only be applied once every 60 seconds. That's another thing. I really, really wish they wouldn't limit these boons to only proccing once every 60 seconds. Because let's keep it real. 2400 power is not really that much. When you're at an end game, group, the ACs and the Paladins are going to be buffing your power so high that you're going to have a couple hundred, 300,000-400,000 power. So adding an additional 2,400 power is not going to do anything. You're literally not going to even notice a difference. I mean, 2,400 power when you have hundreds of thousands of power is going to be such a minuscule difference. It might not even be like a 0.5% extra damage. It might be like 0.1% of an extra damage. I don't know the exact mathematical equation, but just trust me, it's not that much. And on top of that, only being able to be used, once every 60 seconds, it's kind of whack. I really, really wish that some of these campaign boons did not have this can only be applied once every 60-second thing on them, because it makes it kind of weird. But other than that, man, the map itself is very small. And I just showed a couple seconds ago the entire map on the screen. The actual map of Barovia, the place of Barovia is very, very small. You could pretty much do a circle around the entire map in just under a minute. So it's pretty small. Another new thing that we got with Mod 14 was the hunts, which you get the wanted posters from. Me personally, I think that thing, that theory is amazing. I love actually being able to get different wanted posters and go in and kill different enemies and get different loot and stuff like that. That's a really, really cool thing I think they brought to the game. The only thing that kind of sucks about it is that once you get all the loot and all the gear you need from those wanted posters, there's no reason to run them anymore, so the fun wears off really quickly. And then you have the Taraka deck cards, which are really cool as well. You can actually get Taraka deck cards by killing enemies or doing weeklies and stuff, or inside of Castle Ravenloft, and then, use them on your hunts to increase different things and get different rewards, like emeralds or refinement points or salvageable gear or astral diamonds, so on and so forth. But like I said, once again, once you run so many of these things, the fun wears off really, really quickly. Then we got a new artifact that you can get, which I made a video about, called the Taraka deck artifact. And the way you obtain that is by getting all 54 Taraka deck cards by completing the deck, then trading in the deck for the artifact. The artifact is more geared to support players like tanks and DCs and stuff like that. And it has some really, really cool things it can actually do, but I still haven't personally tested it, so I don't actually know how good it is for support classes. There might be better options to use. Now, as far as the actual dungeon, we got Castle Ravenloft, and I made a review of my Castle Ravenloft a couple days ago as well, about a week ago. Castle Ravenloft is a really, really great dungeon. It's a lot of fun. I love just all the visuals inside of it. I think they did an excellent job with the dungeon. But the problem with the dungeon is it's littered and filled with glitches. Game-breaking bad glitches, and it turns into a mass scroll of life farm. Like, that's pretty much what it is. You use so many mass scrolls of life in there if you get some of the glitches. The biggest glitches is the sisters fight. The second sister seems to always glitch and have a small health bar, meaning that she teleports all around the map, and she has the health of all the sisters combined. So it takes much longer to kill her because she's constantly moving around the map. You can't hit her, and then she has way more health. Then you have other glitches in the game that happen at the last boss. You also have glitches in the game that happen at the second boss. There's so many glitches that happen in this dungeon, it is ridiculous. Now, I know on PC they get patches way more faster than us console peasants, but at the same time, I heard that they patched a lot of the things on PC. So hopefully in the near future, on the Xbox One and on the PlayStation 4, we will be getting the patches to Castle Ravenloft, and they will patch it and make it glitch-free. My only fear and issue with that is that I feel that by the time they actually patch and fix Castle Ravenloft, it'll be so old and so bored, people will be so bored of running it, that they got all those seals out of there, they got all their gear out of there, and Mod 15 is going to be right around the corner. You know, if it takes them a month or 2 months to go ahead and patch, let's just say it takes them a month and a half to patch Castle Ravenloft and make it good again, well then at that point it's already going to be November, and we're going to be getting Mod 14 in December. So, I'm sorry, Mod 15 in December. So I think it might take them so long to actually fix Castle Ravenloft that by the time they fix it, everybody's going to be amped up and geared up and ready to roll into Mod 15. And most people won't go back to playing Castle Ravenloft. So, all in all, at the end of the day, I think that Ravenloft was an excellent campaign, but it was way too small. There's a major, major lack of content in this campaign. I mean, we only get one campaign every 3 months, and most players can pretty much beat this entire campaign, beat the dungeon, get everything they need out of here in about 3 to 4 weeks. And like I said, I've only had the campaign now for 3 weeks, and I've already got all the gear I want from it with the crown seals. I already beat Castle Ravenloft over 50 times. I've already got the new armor enchantment, the new weapon enchantment, all that stuff, both of the new mounts. Now, I might be a little bit different than some players because I play the game more, I farm the game more, so I make more money in the game by playing it. But at the same point, the campaign itself is just very, very small. It looks amazing. The entire visuals of it is cool. The storyline is off the hook. But at the same time, 4 boons? I mean, 4 friggin' boons. That's all we get. What happened to the nice, big, long campaigns we used to have that used to last for months? That used to have multiple dungeons and so much content and like 9 boons, 6 boons. This was a really, really small campaign with only 4 boons, only 1 dungeon, and then nothing else. You know, that's, in my opinion, is pretty lackluster. I really, really, really think that they dropped the ball on this and wish they would have done more, because it could have been so amazing. For this being such an intricate part of Dungeons and Dragons and everything, and the Ravenloft and Barovia, I think that they should have added more. Now, mind you, the 4 boons, okay, it is what it is, but the 1 dungeon thing has got to stop. I mean, not only did we only get 1 dungeon, we didn't even get an epic trial. At least, you know, with the Mod 13 or Mod 14 thing, you know, we got Tomb of the Nine Gods and Cradle of the Death Gods. a lot of players are going to get burnt out of playing the same one dungeon over and over. So I'm hoping that in the future, when they release new mods, it would be really, really nice to see them add maybe 2 dungeons. And as well as 2 dungeons, maybe adding 1 or 2 epic trials. So then you have 3 to 4 different things that you can play and farm and enjoy. And you won't get burnt out of one specific thing, running it over and over and over again. So all in all, I love the way that Mod 14 and Ravenloft and the Barovia and everything looks. I love Castle Ravenloft. But at the end of the day, I feel it really, really lacked in content. It's a very, very small map. Barovia is a very, very small area. The campaign basically takes, 3 weeks to complete, more or less, to get to the point where you unlock the dungeon. And that's if you didn't buy the Hunter Expedition Pack. A lot of players bought 1 or 2 of those and unlocked it on day 1 or week 1. So it's very, very small. Although I love it, I wish they really would have did more, because I feel that Ravenloft is probably the best area, one of the best areas they've ever put in Neverwinter, and I thoroughly enjoy it. But it gets boring so fast because there's really not much to do after you've done it all. There's not much. You got a couple hunts, 1 dungeon, and that's really it. So it's pretty small. So although I love it, I hate it at the same time. I guess it's like a love-hate relationship. But what I want to know from you guys is leave a comment down below. Let me know if you agree with me. Do you disagree with me? How do you guys enjoy, or how are you guys enjoying, or what is your, your actual review of Ravenloft Mod 14? Let me know in the comment section how you guys feel about it. If you guys did enjoy this video, man, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up like button. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man, and tell your friends about me so they can subscribe to my channel, they can view my videos, and then you can help a brother out. So anyway, YouTube, this is the Assist Man, and until next time, I am out.